emerging process, isn't it? The only problem I have with recordings is it takes as long to listen to them as it takes to generate.
There's
Not longer.
There's
It's
a
not
little bar
longer.
down the bottom,
because
Patrick.
you
You
go
just
back.
sort of slide it along.
Let's have a go, shall we?
Yes,
Is somebody going to let me share?
It should be letting you.
Well, I'll give it a try. Let's see.
I just wanted to, Patrick, Gary, and JB, thanks for thinking of me. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to this endeavor. So just wanted to put it out there.
You're welcome. Then you must be crazy.
We're all crazy.
At least I know two of you characters pretty well, so it can only be good.
Where is the thing I have to press to get myself to share? That's
to
what
the
I'm
bottom of the
here
screen.
we are. Yeah, I found it.
The mouse down. Yeah.
I've got it. It's woken up now. It's amazing what these things do. Share screen.
Charlotte, it's so cute with the photo of the background. You see your son peeping over your shoulder.
That's great.
Yeah, Logan chose it. You guys, some of you had backgrounds, and he wanted one as well.
Now, what are you seeing?
Another sense-making framework.
Well, wow. That's great. That's where it should have started. And now I'll go on. I think I'll probably leave it because there's something we did recently, Suja. We found it was easier to leave it in this mode than to go into presentation mode.
Fine, right? That's fine. Yep.
Because that means you can alter it as you go. So if you're happy with that, I've got here one screen showing your faces and so on, including Logan's, and the other screen is showing what you're seeing on the share screen. You'll recall that the center part of this diagram was where we left it a week ago, I think. Very usefully, I had a short session with Suja last night, and what she drew attention to was the fact that the interaction between the three cores of this program, that's to say understanding emergence, using system science, and making in practice, and making sense in complexity, were in the previous diagram that the interaction between those was not clearly visible. So we altered it by putting in these somewhat fudged together double-headed arrows. Of course, they could be better. The one at the top's okay, but it distorts when you rotate it. So I haven't worried too much about that. So that was to get a better view of what we're doing. And then in discussion is, well, what are we trying to do with the event? And what came out of this was creating a learning experience with Encose. And the reason for that is that I think that's part of our purpose. You follow me? It is the event that has to be part of our purpose, because that's why we're here. It may have other purposes beyond that, which are covered by the bigger title, but there seems to be something we must focus on in what we're saying. Is everybody with me? Good. Anything? So this is the high-level purpose diagram, if you like. Our impelling purpose articulated to one layer down, one layer of abstraction down from the top. Okay. Next slide. What I have here is something we discussed. You remember JB and Gary. The basic, if our purpose is to have an event as shown in that circle, then we need to have a bit of a framework for how the event's going to or what the event's going to achieve, and engage, explore, reflect. We could have put other words in there, and maybe we should, I don't know. But this was, and I've got them symbolically here. Microsoft very kindly puts these things together quite quickly, and if they ring a bell with me, I just stick them up for the moment. This is not a final thing. This is a working document that we're talking about. Okay. Now, has anybody got any problems with that as a way of approaching the event?
I think the structure is excellent. I think that it provides a framework for the sessions, which is sort of recursive in a sense. So, you know, in the bigger picture, the whole session, we do that, and then everything that we do, in essence, could then follow that same pattern in a hierarchical, recursive fashion, in a sense.
Well,
So
I have. Let me say, I think it's worthwhile being ambitious here. I did a workshop with the other day, which surprised me to discover I had an audience of over 100. I actually thought I had an audience of about 10 to 20 when I was delivering it, but it was quite amazing. Now, this is the value of virtual working. You can engage a lot of people globally. And so I have in mind that if we think that's where it's going, before we get to the event, we've got to train one facilitator for every 6 people in the audience. Because if you go to a breakout room, if you go to bigger than that, you don't get the sort of conversation you need to bring ideas back. We'll have to work out how we integrate the result of that into something that's useful in the immediate sense, and something which can be used ongoing to develop stuff for Encose. Because if we could do that, it would be the rate of progress we could make in starting. Sorry, the concept I have here is one which Suja will be familiar with. That culture is generated by the network of conversations that occur. So you can see that actually what we're doing is starting a lot of conversations around Encose about this subject, which will evolve a culture to deal with the challenges that we're facing.
So Patrick, I got a quick couple of thoughts came into my mind just when you said that. One was on the numbers. I actually believe that given IW and what we just had in IS, that it'll be significant. It's not going to be 10, 15, it's going to be 50 plus, probably in the hundreds if you're lucky, right? I think last time when we spoke, or could be the time before, we touched on the concept of breakout rooms and the approach. And I think maybe I was misinterpreting the feedback, but I got the impression that we didn't want to structure it towards a workshop because of the scope and the context, and we wanted to make it more of a forum or a discussion session. So I just want to clarify, are you thinking now that we go back to a mix or a blend where we will have breakout sessions as opposed to not having breakout sessions where there'll be
I think we should suspend a decision on that for the moment.
Okay.
The whole art of dealing with uncertainty is to avoid boxing yourself into a corner where you don't want to be. So the way we write this is to put an authentic proposal forward, which we can live with in terms of adapting it to the need as we go along. Okay. So there's a certain amount of wordsmithing going to be needed, and a tendency for clarity of concept, and just looking at what's sufficient to communicate trust. It's an example of this idea that crisis is actually can be an opportunity if you can manage the dangers that are involved.
Okay.
So it's again walking our own talk in this, and that's why I'm saying, although there are not a lot of words needed for this, if we do need a couple of days more to polish it, then I'd suggest we just ask for them.
Right. So I think the structure you've got over here would work either way. It was just a question really about what way do we want to go. So this would work well if we had breakout sessions, or even if we didn't, the structure would still work. So it's probably something to think about.
Yes, that's right. I just want to leave our options open, really, at the moment, at this stage. I don't think, the one thing I don't think is right is any of the normal formula that Nkosi have adopted so far. I think we're going to have to be innovative in this and work together on it. And one of the things we can do is to co-opt more people into our team in the same way as the Olympics co-opted 250,000 volunteers into the delivery of the Olympics most effectively. Now, I'm not suggesting we start with 250,000 volunteers for this. What I'm saying is they actually adapted to the challenge and managed to deliver on time and on budget. They had to deliver on time. They also delivered on budget with some really innovative approaches. That particular one was actually nicked from the Chinese, but it doesn't matter where you nick it from, as long as it works. Am I clear?
Yeah, Patrick, I
Yeah,
think.
we can move on.
sorry.
We've got the structure there, and we've got how we actually go ahead with the solution will be dependent on what we all sort of think makes sense.
Okay.
Hang on, Sujit, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, what I wanted to say was, if we focus on what I think Patrick is trying to get us to work towards, it will allow us to scale easily, because everyone would be on board regarding, they have clarity in terms of what it is that we want to achieve.
Absolutely.
And I think that is what we want to get into the proposal. So
Yep.
then it's easy to scale.
Yeah,
So
we're doing action research.
That's right. So our proposal will be why based.
Yeah.
Right. Why driven, not how driven. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's an enormously important principle in systems thinking, which, given the challenges that we're looking at, is going to be very important. Now, I thought it was worth just very briefly and in a couple of sentences in the proposal, exploring what we mean by value from systems thinking, because after all, that is the fundamental why for what we're doing. Okay, because if you look at our title, using systems thinking to add value. Well, what do we mean by the value we add? Is something we must articulate. So I put this together with the help again of Microsoft, because this is one of its design things. And I basically picked up on 3 concepts. The first is emergence. And emergence is the source of value from all systemic processes. That's axiomatic. Okay? The second is that from the pandemic, and I'll see why I'm referring to the pandemic in a moment, but from the pandemic, we learn the power of R factors. In other words, non-linear exponential propagation of ideas or propagation of things can be astoundingly powerful. So I'm saying that the second idea we need to build into this is R factors. And the means of propagating those ideas is people. So essentially, and I've actually drafted this so you'll be able to see what I mean a bit later, but essentially we have very concisely, to put those 3 things together, into a couple of sentences which show what we mean by value. If you want, I can go to it, but it's on another piece of paper.
It'd be a good idea to do that now if we're going to talk about it. Maybe if you can, so that way we stay with it. I mean,
as you wish. Let me see if I can do this. This is extraordinary if we can do it. My gosh, we can. Total surprise. Now, this is my draft, and somewhere down here, we've got in it, in the abstract. Oh no, let me read the topic bit, because it says everything we got so far. 3 important strands of systems thinking are induced to create a learning experience within COSI. The strands, not stands, the strands are understanding emergence, making sense of complexity, and using systems science in practice. The power, and this is where we go, the power to add value emerges from harmonious emergence of understanding and shared wisdom that is stimulated. The intersection of these 3 concepts delivered through people is intended to generate that power. Okay, so I mean, there's some wordsmithing needed to be done on it, but I thought that was something which needs to go right into the topic part. She says 2 sentences. I think that's actually 3, but I don't think she'll get too upset by having 3. I accept that we've got to do a bit of sorting out about emerges from harmonious emergence. Those words can be smoothed out, and thoughts.
I think
to be
sorry, go Gary.
To be honest, I'm not entirely comfortable. The reason being is I see systems thinking as heuristic practices which actually need to be transformed into science-based practices. So I don't see system science in practice as a strand of systems thinking. I actually see that systems thinking is a strand of system science, and actually we need to move beyond systems thinking. We need to move towards what I'm calling applied systemics.
How would you rephrase that introductory bit, Gary? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm not sure at the moment. I'm just expressing, you know,
I take your
my
point.
feeling that I'm uncomfortable.
May I just suggest? I totally understand your uncomfortableness, and there will be others who have that uncomfortableness. So we've got to address it. But we've got a chicken and an egg here. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, it does say using system science in practice, which, you know, for me, that's what systems thinking is. You're taking the system science and you're using it in practice, but maybe it's not explicit enough. Gary, is that where you're uncomfortable?
I think it's the ordering Gary's saying is as Patrick said, it's the chicken and the egg thing, right? What comes, what's part of what? Yeah.
What if we reorder the 3 strands? So we talk about using systems in practice first, and then understanding emergence, and then making sense of complexity, because effectively that's what's happening. You're taking the system science and you're applying it, and that helps you get the other 2 things.
Or if you, and just thinking out loud too, and this probably is going to take a bit, as Patrick and Gary said, is it perhaps about 3 systemic concepts are introduced instead of 3 important strands of system thinking? If we just say 3 systemic concepts are introduced.
Well, we could make it ambiguous by 3 important strands of the systems approach, if you want.
That would make me a lot more comfortable.
All right.
It's the systems thinking that's the concern. And if change that and make it systemic concepts or something to that effect.
I mean, I've got systems thinking in here because the
Well,
requirement is systems thinking.
That's okay.
That's okay. That's the
I'm
title.
happy with that. I'm very happy with the title, because systems
Yeah.
thinking is the essential thing that we do when we're doing systems engineering and adopting a systems approach. If you're not using systems thinking when you do your systems engineering, all you're doing is following processes.
Maybe
Yes.
just
No, I've just adopted this 3 important strands of the systems approach are
of A.
Yes.
Of A.
Yeah, quite right.
And so now that also that sentence also affords for exploration, right? Because it doesn't peg it down. I don't know how else to put it. Sorry. I'll have more clarity of thought on that later.
I'm trying to avoid words like systemics and stuff like that, which we would have to explain.
Yes, I understand that. Yeah. I would have just said, 3 important strands of the systems approach are introduced to create a learning experience within COSI. Yeah, and these are understanding emergence, making sense of complexity, and using system science in practice.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think that's right, Patrick. So if you take the
Yeah.
the opening sentence, and if you actually change the opening sentence to say 3 important strands of a systems approach.
Patrick, do you want me to help?
Yeah, why don't you? Yeah, very good. I've learned something. Suja can actually take over and use my screen.
Wow.
Would you believe? I have to approve
have
it.
you?
I've approved it.
Okay.
Is this because you're using 365, is it?
Yeah.
No. Oh, no, you can do it via Zoom.
Oh, wow.
Okay, Gary, you said it. What was it again?
3 important strands of a system of a system approach are introduced to create a learning experience within COSI. You've got the text already. You just need to remove the system thinking bit.
Introduced. Okay, there we go.
You could, yeah, that's it.
Let's do that.
Yeah, these are yes.
Shouldn't we, if we want to get across the concept of the and?
Yep.
Yeah, we actually had it that way to start with. Actually, we did. We had and. Yes.
That's perfect. And then what we can do is, we can just, I can just hide, that word, these things, and then it'll make more sense.
Yeah. And the 4th concept was and.
Yes.
What?
It was the 4th concept, which was and.
But you could put a sentence in there.
Oh.
Yeah, well,
should I add that?
Well, I think you might be able to just try putting it in. Because I think you can actually work that into the value statement.
I think so. I think what we said was the way we'd worded it previously was we just actually added another and at the end. So in other words, and making sense of complexity and using system science in practice and in italics.
Okay.
I see. Okay, that's cool. Let's do that.
So it's now 4 important strands.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and is the second one
You just do it lowercase.
like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just.
But that's in italics. That
Yeah.
second hand's in italics.
It's a bit slow from my end here, but let's.
Yeah, that's the thing. Performance sort of dies when you're doing it that way. I think if you had the document, it'd be faster, but I don't know how you're going to get that now. So.
No, it's fine.
You're getting
doing
there.
very well. I'm
Under
absolutely
pressure.
amazed at this technology.
I just mustn't crack under pressure. There we go. Did it.
And do you want to change it to four important strands?
Oh, right. There we go.
Wonderful. Yeah. I'm much more comfortable now.
Good. That's exactly what we want to achieve. Okay, now are you leaving that as 2 paragraphs or leaving it as 1?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm not completely sure about this, but I don't have anything more to add than that at this stage.
Yeah,
I need to ruminate.
And it's 4
Well,
concepts.
What I wanted to articulate was the idea that, first of all, emergence itself is the source of system or systemic value. This is something which most people in INCOSE haven't realized, is the unique, almost unique area of learned society work that I know of is actually INCOSE, and yet it's not paying attention to its ultimately most powerful source of value. The whole is more than the sum of its parts.
But then shouldn't we add that then as perhaps, or that idea as the first paragraph in the abstract? Because it'll keep this short and sweet.
Well, yes, that's fine. Yeah, just move it to the one below.
Could we make the language simpler by just saying like learning together instead of harmonious emergence of understanding? Like we could just say.
By the way, you'll find always, but by the time you finish with what I've drafted, you've made it simpler.
Oh, come on.
Can't show history, eh?
No way.
Can you undo?
Yeah, let me just see if it. Okay, go away.
Just paste.
We've lost it, have we? Oh,
no, we haven't. I'll just copy it. Fine. I think it's because of the remote access that it restricts the functionality, which is. Are you kidding me?
You might have to turn it on.
You have to go, maybe try going to the paste on the top left and doing it from there. Maybe it's the control bit that's not working. Do that, yeah. Paste special and text, just unformatted text down the bottom.
There we no. Oh, sorry. There we go.
That should be
Oh,
fine.
right. You're right. It's my keyboard actions. I'll just delete that. Okay.
down one. Won't it let you go down?
What do you want me to do?
I want you to. Oh, you've already done it. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm behind you. You're there. The speed of your actions has left me completely flabbergasted. Okay, that sentence needs tidying up. How Charlotte, you were doing a great job there.
Oh, so the power to add value emerges from, and then I thought we could just say learning together, and that's it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just going to add this again so that we have the original text. So the power to add value emerges from
learning together.
Oh shoot. Sorry.
Or learning together with purpose, because then that covers off the fact that it's stimulated. Learning together with purpose.
Purposeful or purpose-driven learning together.
Yeah.
Or purposefully learning together. From purposefully
learning together. Yes. because we're not just hanging out around a campfire learning stuff. We go to work and we're like, we are going to learn today how we're going to make this thing. Let's do it.
That's great. Absolutely great. So cut out the other bits. By the way, I think, Suja, that because this is in 365, we will be able to, when I save this, because it's on my machine, we'll be able to go back through the history if we want to recover anything. You see, in 365, it takes you into SharePoint, and SharePoint is holding the complete history of editing on this file. So you can go back to the editing that's been done if you want to capture something.
Okay, no, it's good to know. There's something.
It's something you can also do in Teams, by the way.
We need to capture people somewhere in that sentence.
Yes.
From people purposefully learning together?
Yes. From people purposefully. Yeah. You can even.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think it says the same thing now, but easier
Yes,
words.
no, that's great. That's absolutely great.
But that's just the first, like, I think the second sentence is still relevant. Do we keep the second sentence?
The intersection.
Yeah. Do we keep that or not?
Well,
Only it's 4 concepts now, but
I think the point that Patrick was making, it's when all of these perspectives come together, that's when the value comes. The synergy happens when you actually think, bring these all together. The power comes through the recognition of that alignment and understanding.
So we keep the second sentence, only it's 4 concepts now.
So take out harmonious emergence of understanding, right? And then put in the intersection as the next sentence.
Yeah.
But I rather like the idea of using the word synergy, because I regard synergy as a word which should be understood by every person in COSE. I once
Aren't we
was told,
sorry.
yeah, sorry, doesn't matter.
Go for it.
These four concepts.
Well, we either stick to concept or strands.
Well, strands then, okay.
Yeah.
It's up to you. If we want to be technical, it's concepts.
I think we should use the word what does the team think?
Again, I was thinking, if we're talking about the imagery that comes to mind of overlapping, it's about concepts, right? Strand has a connotation of thread.
Okay, I prefer concepts, so that's good.
Gary? I can see your face.
Oh no, Gary. What's up?
So concepts has a particular meaning, yeah.
And we're using it in that.
Well,
aren't we?
I'm not really sure.
I mean, if you take the definition of systems, there are conceptual systems and there are physical systems.
Yes.
And we've just put forward 3 conceptual systems.
Well, making sense of complexity, for instance, is it's more aligned with actually a principle.
Well, how is it aligned to a principle?
It's a practice, isn't it? Making sense of complexity is a practice. I just want to avoid using a term which has a specific meaning in the science.
While you're thinking,
every single word is a concept.
Yes, yeah, no, I
Mm.
understand. Well, while you're thinking, I went back to the email from Kerry and used her words in that to start it off, and I'm just wondering whether there's some value in sort of picking something from there. What catalyzed her thinking to put those words in to start with?
Can I just sorry to sort of persist on this, JB, but when you put a string of words together, like understanding emergence or making sense of complexity, indeed what you're doing, Patrick, is you are essentially creating a conceptual system from those parts. Each part is a concept. And when you put them together, you have a conceptual system. So I don't want to say 4 important concepts. What we're really talking about is 4 important, essentially conceptual systems, which is why I prefer the term strands.
Okay. I'm happy with either, but
go with sorry, Patrick, go with whatever everyone thinks, but I'm probably going to stir things up even more now, but would perspectives be something that would be suitable in this context, or we stay with strands? And I'm not fussed on either one.
I like perspectives as well. I think that's even more, but I think that's even more appropriate than strands. But yeah, I would
So
really,
one of the definitions of strand as a noun, and I just put it in Google, says an element that forms part of a complex whole.
Yeah,
that does quite well.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank
one
you,
of the if that helps. But
does.
it's also a string of beads, which JB is absolutely right, that that or string of something, right? So the idea, well, there's language for you. The fact that it can exist in a form depending on the context, with those, I mean, they are really, in a way, not opposing, but they're definitely not the same idea. Maybe it's a useful.
I think I've changed my mind. I like strands better again now. Now you've explained what it is. Because that's what we're really talking about. It's 4 important elements. Yeah, so I'm happy using the word strands.
Let's move on.
That's good. Use strands and then change intersection to the intertwining or something to that effect that goes with strands, right?
But did you want to say synergy, or didn't you use the word synergy or the interplay? That was language you used, JP, if I recall correctly. Would that be better?
Interplay, intertwine, interplay is fine. Yeah.
I quite like the synergy from these 4.
Yeah.
Because it brings us straight into the concept of emergence.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, I'll fix that. So it's the synergy. Oh.
Don't worry.
The
You're far
synergy
better
of
than
these
I am.
4 strands.
The synergy from these 4 strands is delivered through people.
Yeah.
It's difficult to be an editor and a thinker. It's one or.
Is delivered through people and is intended to generate that power.
I would go even stronger. I'd say and generates that power.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And yes, less words better. That's the way to Kerry's heart, I can tell you.
Is there a reason that was capitalized, the P?
Well, that's an interesting point, actually. We're using the word power in a very evocative way. We're using it as a double entendre too, because it's basically the benefit is non-linear, right? It's used in a mathematical sense as well as in a sense of the energy, the value.
Yeah.
So at least in inverted commas or in quotes or something.
Yeah. And one of the reasons why I like the use of power is because in the talk that I'll be doing, I'll be talking about 9 transformational powers that emerge based on system science.
Where did I get the idea from, Gary?
Okay.
Okay. Right, so that now replaces the paragraph below, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Good. You realize we'd only got 2/3 of the words written. Now we've got less. Don't worry, if it's shorter, it'll be all right for Kerry.
I like the next 2 paragraphs as they are. I don't know how other people feel.
Well done, Charlotte. So while we've been faffing, you've been sorting out the next part.
Only if you guys agree with me.
Well, if we're happy with that, that's great.
Is the intent of using this "and" here, Patrick, the same intent as we have there?
Yep.
We need another "and" before that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We've now adopted an idiom, which is.
We just must be consistent.
Yes. 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 I hadn't realized that when I was writing it, but I sort of.
I think one of the things it's always hard getting this right, but that opening sentence under the abstract, and this is just me thinking out loud again, perhaps now belongs better as a second sentence under the topic, because it also refers to the 4 strands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it actually probably belongs better there, and then we just start off with "it is whatever," right? So, but anyway,
Okay.
You probably got to pull your hair out.
Did you have a better introduction, JB, when you were drafting this?
No. My introduction was that first sentence, pretty much.
Okay.
And so it was in the document that I sent was really the wording you have in that introductory sentence is perfect. I think it covers it much better. The second sentence in the one I put together was really about bringing the systems engineering concepts in. It's this transdisciplinary approach driven in a time-driven framework to engage, explore, and reflect. This is something we talked about last time. So I think this is better. All I'm thinking is that first opening sentence on the abstract.
I see. What you're suggesting is that we move the synergy from these 4 strands to the front.
It just goes below. It becomes a second sentence under the topic because it then flows on. And we've talked about these 4 strands in the previous section.
I see what you're
missing
saying.
now.
So move the paragraph up back into topic now.
Yeah, as the second sentence in the topic. Yeah. And
Okay. Okay, I hear what you're saying. I now understand. Oh no. Okay, sorry. That clearly doesn't work. Oh my God. No. Back.
What have you done? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank goodness for that. I trust you, Susan.
Wow.
It's my computer. I trust you.
Let's just do that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I just do that pasting again. I just. Oh, bloody hell. I shouldn't have done that. Never mind. I'll fix the italics later. This should have been.
It's just, the power is the only word you want to italicize, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. So we want it like this.
Yeah, just unitalicize the
What's that?
first word of that paragraph.
The verb before power.
The power.
Oh,
unitalicize that, that's all.
Okay. Oh, dear.
Just for consistency.
No.
No pressure.
Wait, I'm almost. Oh.
Well done.
Would it be more efficient if Patrick emailed you the document and then you edited it in screens?
Sorry, what?
Maybe, but it's fine. We're making great progress.
Fantastic.
All right.
Never done it like this before. It's great.
Poor Jamie has been so frustrated. It's like, what?
Okay, so now that lot's okay, and if we follow Charlotte's lead, we can go down to success in practice. Is that right?
I think there might be a problem with the second paragraph, second sentence.
Examples include.
No, it's the crisis arises because we have the ability to understand their potential for harm on the global scale. That doesn't make sense to me.
Sorry, I'm not quite where you are at the moment.
So, second paragraph of the abstract.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the second sentence. The crisis arises because we have the ability to understand their potential harm on a global scale.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, let me explain what I'm trying to say first, and then we'll see how we say it better. What I'm trying to say here is, look, these three issues have been incubating for, in some ways, since the year dot, right? Pandemics aren't new. Pandemics have been going on for a very, very long time. Climate change is happening all the time and has been happening since the Earth was first formed. Global pollution is probably the most recent one because we're actually talking about an anthropogenic action there. So it's only as long as human beings have been around, but whilst human beings have been around, we've been polluting things. Yet, why now is the question. And the answer is that we've become aware of the global influence of these things and our ability to intervene globally to cause harm or good. In other words, we're getting a sense of global responsibility, if you like. And that's the now part of it. And that's ultimately where the opportunity for what we're talking about really comes from. So expressing it more clearly is the thing. Can I suggest that you just have a quick look at that blue underlined bit, dotted underlined bit, to what Google or what Microsoft says about that by hovering over it. That's it. And it's a click, I think you do. That's it. Yeah, okay, just once more concise, can or could. So good suggestion. Which one do we have?
Yeah, the thing that really that again worries me is it's not the crisis that's arising because we have the ability to understand their harm. It is our need to do something. Yeah.
That's a good point.
What a crisis. Can you have a look at what a crisis is?
Well, we've got, you've said what the three crises are: the pandemic, the climate change, global pollution. If we really understood those crises, then they wouldn't happen.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, what that sentence says is it arises because we have the ability to comprehend.
Yeah,
Okay.
the need to do something arises.
But
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, we don't have the ability to comprehend is probably the point, right? It's we don't see it coming in it, and because we don't apply appropriate.
Well, I think we've ignored it. We pretended it wasn't happening.
No, you're right, and I think the word we are beginning to understand arises because we are beginning to understand their potential for harm on a global scale. I don't think we fully understand it now. So beginning would make that much more sensible.
Oh, are you trying to say that it's been identified as a crisis because we have become aware of it? I mean, it's only crisis if we define it as one, as people, right?
Absolutely.
Crisis is
a human construct. And from that it's been around for a long time because that word in Chinese has been around for at least 3,000 years.
So do we change arises then? The crises have been identified because or the crises have now been identified because we can now
beginning to understand their potential for harm.
right and
could we say something like these crises can no longer be ignored? Yeah. And
Yeah.
we have the ability to understand their potential for harm on a global scale. These
that's
crises
great.
can no longer be ignored. Yeah, because we have the ability to understand their potential for harm on a global scale. I think that.
See, this sort of touches on some of the stuff that I was actually working on draft.
Consciousness.
Yeah, what I was going to put in, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
thing
that's good, Gary.
Yeah, sorry, keep talking. I'm just trying to find my notes now.
We have the ability to. Oh, sorry.
I say you can just take those words away.
Yeah. I was just typing while you were chatting. Ability to.
And 1, 2 out. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, okay.
So the next paragraph, starting, of course, I think that one needs more work. And I was hoping that Gary could bring some stuff in about the system science in here, because I think it talks about heuristics a bit too much. Like, there's a chance to bring the science in.
Well,
before we go there, I just want to come back to the first paragraph. We said here, it's already apparent that through the intersection of at least 3 global crises, blah, 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 the opportunity exists for INCOSE to innovatively learn together. This is just hanging there.
Well, the reason it's there is the instructions. If you see, the instructions for this paragraph are actually down the bottom. And you'll find that there is a requirement to make a link to accelerating through adversity.
Oh.
Right? So I felt that was, if you like, just complying with the contract instructions.
Yeah.
Oh.
I wouldn't have chosen those words myself as being the best words, but I do think that it's not a bad idea if we can work in the intent of our president. Because those are her, but she'll almost undoubtedly have written that conference theme or agreed it with her team. That's the only reason for it being there. That's why I put it in quotes.
I don't know. It's not. I don't know if it's going to add any.
I think you can remove now have the ability to, because it's simpler, because we understand their potential. So we don't need to say we have the ability to. Yeah.
Right.
And I wonder, JB, on that last part, which is thereby turning crisis into an opportunity, could we add for increased consciousness? You see the last sentence of the second paragraph, Suja.
Yeah.
Thereby turning crisis into an opportunity for increased consciousness.
In a context of awareness is what you're sort of touching on there, right?
Yeah. If you're uncomfortable with the word consciousness, you could put in awareness. But what we're really talking about is we're talking about the emergence of global consciousness.
Yes. So the words. I don't have to write any of this. So this is just the thinking. The words that I had to introduce what I was going to. So in this context, we are now reaching critical limits that are placing our survival as a species and that of our planet at increasing risk. We can no longer consider things in isolation. The safety buffers of space and time that our planet provided us with have all been used up, all but been used up, and we're starting to see the effect of these interactions. Right. So I think that's sort of that aligns or resonates with what we're trying to say here.
Yeah. Maybe you could put that in the chat, JB.
Yeah.
But
don't we want to do
I'll have to think of other words then for my opening thing, but I'll put it in. Hang on. Yes. Yeah.
Do
I
we want
have,
to do more than awareness though? Like, yeah, increased
Yes.
awareness, but we also want to like do something about it, right? We've got
Yeah.
increased awareness, don't we? Now we want to like sort it out.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you want to go opportunity, full stop, new sentence.
Okay.
And
And then
because it's a new idea you're bringing in, that's the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't just cheat it in, we've got to deal with it
Yeah. So maybe,
explicitly.
maybe that's where we can put JB's words in.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Is that okay, Charlotte?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, give it a try.
I
I think-
have a, oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Go through.
On this part here, emergent processes can spread globally at an extraordinary rate. Isn't it, or had a word for that, emergent practice, or what were you trying to say with emergent processes?
What I'm saying is that I haven't got the right word there, and I'm not sure what it should be. But the outcome of emergence, what emerges from emergence?
Maybe the word is outcome.
Yeah.
Emergent outcomes.
Yeah, okay, that would be good. Outcomes would be very good. I'd be much
Yeah.
happier with that. Yes, outcomes, and because that's a really good systems thinking ultimate measure.
And
That works very well. Emergent outcomes
you.
can spread globally at an extraordinary rate and scale. These three crises have been incubating for a long time. These crises can no longer be ignored because we understand their potential for harm on a global scale. Through a systems approach, we can stimulate global collaborative actions that will modify behaviors and enable us to learn to mitigate the dangers, thereby turning crisis into opportunity. Now, first of all, let me explain the construct that I'm using here. I'm taking the four ideas, right? So I've started with emergence. You follow me? Having introduced
I see what you're doing. Yeah.
I've got emergence, then I've got the complexity issues, then I've got the system science issues. That's the basic structure that I'm using. And by the way, if you count up the number of words we've got here, which is very easy to do, just put your cursor over the number of words in that block, Suja, or can I do that?
Then
Maybe I can do it. Okay, don't worry. If you just stay quiet for a moment. I didn't realize we could collaborate this like this. Where's oh God. I've got to find
Just don't try and move the cursor together at the same time.
No, that's
no, he's basically got control back. I just need to request it again.
Word count there. So far, we have 222 words in there, and we've got a budget of 300. That's what I wanted just to check.
Really, we don't want to go too much beyond the space that we've taken over there. Maybe just a bit more at most, right?
That's. I just want us to keep that in mind, so that we get the number of ideas balanced. Sorry, what we've are dealing with the whole thing is balanced. Remember, we have added a fourth. We've got 3 paragraphs. They're not. It got nearer and nearer to deadline time as I got down this bit, but the you've got another paragraph for and necessary now. You've got 1, 2, 3, which is the original ones, and they've got an and paragraph as well to put in. Why?
I actually think that we could. Though, to be quite honest with you, I don't know if these two these two can be condensed, I think, into 2 sentences to capture the idea of these two
Right.
in a way. We
Which two are
don't.
you talking about?
Oh, sorry, I can't see my cursor. The last two, the of course.
Do you want the power back? How do you do that?
I think,
You
wait,
have
I
to
don't
ask
have
for
it back.
I don't know how
No.
you ask for it, so. Oh,
I'm
you got
going
it
to do
back.
it
There you
again.
are.
I got it back. Okay.
Oh, well, whichever of us moves takes over. That's good. We can have a real battle.
You can.
Yes, we can. No, I'm talking about these two because, to be quite honest, there's no need to talk about fellows' works and IS 2019. We can just share the idea that there are sense-making frameworks available out there that allows us to make sense of complexity, and the work that's related in system science that allows us to blah blah, and then we can condense.
Well, what I
like
want to avoid, just to explain it, is everybody thinking that all we're going to do there is Cynefin, which would be wrong, because there are many heuristic frameworks for dealing with systemic problems.
Well, our systems engineering processes are actually heuristics as well.
Yes.
That's a heuristic framework.
So what I'm saying is yes, Cynefin is a sense making, and it always has been a sense making, but actually everything we use concepts for is sense making. Actually,
remember the purpose of this section in the context of the submission. So this is answering the what question, right? The topic is getting people engaged and answering the why question. This is answering the what question, and the rest of it says the how we're going to do it question, right?
Yeah.
We need to bring it back to that, right? So that's what the abstract is, right? What are we doing?
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily realize that paragraph was talking about making sense of complexity. Right. I mean, I know that Cynefin talks about complexity, but it's not like hitting me between the eyes that you're talking about making sense of complexity with that paragraph.
Following me. Patrick.
Yep.
Can you do me a favor, please? In the chat box, JB put in 2 sentences there. Can you just grab it and plonk it in there? I can't because.
Okay, hold on a second. I've got to find the chat box first. Participants. Is chat box in participants?
It's under more.
I've got to get the chat box up somewhere.
Yeah. Down the bottom.
Yeah, if you click the Zoom application. Right.
Where do I find the chat box here?
You go to your Zoom app.
That's up here at the moment because I'm sharing my screen.
It's not on the screen that your cursor's on at the moment.
So you go to more.
More.
Yeah. Do you have the 3 dots? More, and then you should get a chat in the drop down if it looks like mine.
I've got chat. Okay, there we are. That's what we wanted, was it?
Yeah, if you can grab those 2 sentences and put it in the document, then.
It's we no longer. Is that it?
I think both of them, JB. Hey.
Yeah, and remember those are just.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thing, right? So it's really
okay, I've got to do them one at a time. Control copy.
Thank you.
And now.
The other question I have is in the topic description we say system approach, and then in our abstract we say systems approach.
Where do you want me to drop this, Scusa?
Where the cursor is now, under for increased awareness.
Control there, you mean like that?
Yeah.
And then the next one follows. Control copy. New paragraph, so I'll go control. Okay.
Thank you.
Only too happy to oblige.
There
I've
we
learned
go.
something more where chat is.
So the one what I wanted to check was here we say system approach and here we say systems approach. Let me just choose one.
I have a
Plural.
preference for systems, but happy to take votes on it.
It's like the one thing, you know.
Well, the way to resolve
Gary?
the way to resolve it is to go to the Encose website and look up the mission statement in the top right-hand corner. But I shouldn't worry about it at the moment.
I think it says system, so let's just do that.
I think it's plural. Yes.
It just
There we go.
feels nicer.
Yeah. Why was JB saying it should be singular?
No, I was saying plural S, systems.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
all saying
Yeah.
plural.
We-
so
We're all
that's
we
saying
voted.
plural.
Yay!
We're all violently agreeing.
Wow, that is amazing. That rarely happens. Okay, so we are, yeah, here are the two sentences that JB proposed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Suji, really, that's just food for thought, right? It's not intended to, they use them as appropriate. So,
Yeah.
Well, I like the ideas very much.
Yeah.
Almost
But he's-
string them together.
Yeah.
But this was going to be part of JB's talk, right? So if we put them
Yeah,
here,
but that's okay too. That's why I was thinking just
Okay.
use maybe the concept. I think you got the concepts already there, but this was
Yeah.
just to say, this is great because I'm thinking the same thing. And so I was sort of,
Okay.
Yeah. This is the complex bit.
Yes.
Yeah. This is your part.
Yes. Yes.
So put the two sentences together as a paragraph.
Yes, that's what now makes it a crisis. Very clearly a crisis. That, which is great from my point of view.
Yeah.
so then do we move the next paragraph off? We get rid of the of course, and we say these are complex problems.
Yeah.
Sort of statement of fact.
Yeah.
And then I think we need to talk about sense making frameworks for complexity, but say it differently from how it says it at the
Yeah.
moment, which I don't think really sort of
Yeah.
makes it
Yeah.
obvious that that's
Yeah.
what
And
you're talking about.
Yeah, and the sense making frameworks have a multi-purpose. They help you to make. I think they help you to make sense of chaos. They help you to appreciate complexity. They help you to deal with the complicated, and help you to essentially take advantage of the obvious.
Well, yes,
in terms.
That's the in Cynefin terms, but I do want to get in this this other framework, which if may I just go to the PowerPoint for a moment. Just leave that as it is. If I open up the PowerPoint now,
Okay.
I'll show you the framework I'm talking about. That's the one I'm talking about. That's the one we published. And this is the one that was used to deal with this, or to address the systemic issues with regard to Terminal 5. And when I have presented it to industrial audiences, this really appeals to them. And the bit that appeals to them is this word here in this position. The flow from context through to purpose is really important, and ultimately ending up in performance. So I just think we must, what I'm trying to do is say, Cynefin is very, very useful framework, but it's not the only one. There are other proven ones. Yeah, sorry, proven isn't the right word. Others which have got good track record of success in the context we're talking about, at the scale we're talking about.
can we change the order of the strands? Like, so you see the emergence, you observe that about the world, and then from that you start studying systems, and you get your system science, systems theory stuff, and then that then gives you the sense making for complexity
At the end.
right? And you flow it that way, yeah.
Okay.
Right. So you observe the emergence in the world, you study it, you get your systems theory stuff, and then that gives you the frameworks to then do the sense making of complexity. I just feel like that flow is better. I don't know what you guys think.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Gary's nodding and is happy.
And the reason I'm particularly
you're the system
happy,
science guy, so I was quite worried that you'd be like, oh I don't know.
the reason I'm particularly happy is the place where I want to end up is here,
Yeah.
right? And that takes us right the way through to that point, because it's this idea of culture, and the culture emanating from the network of conversations. That idea is really, really powerful. So we're almost there. You've got to find out where you're going to put the and in, and I suspect the and goes after the complexity bit.
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
a proposal, and maybe in terms of the order, if it's important, surely making sense is something that goes first, so that it gives us the space to understand emergence. I mean, how do we understand emergence unless we are saying we're observing emergence and then we are making sense? But here we're using the word understanding, and that implies that we've positioned ourselves in some space to be able to do that. So, I mean, sense making frameworks is to kind of say, okay, where are we? What does my space look like, so that we can have a dialogue, so that we can understand what is happening around us? I mean, and that's not that is not Snowden's wording. That's from, what's the other dude? The seminal work, what's his name? I forgot his name. When he came up with the word sense making.
Who was the guy?
I can't remember. I'll find it for I'll find it for you guys. But it's not Dave Snowden's words.
No, it's certainly not.
Yeah. So
no, I agree with you there. I came across that first from Ruth's work about learning. And sense making is one of the learning powers.
I'll find the. I'll send an email or something. Isn't it Wake or somebody Wake? I can't remember now.
How are we off on time, by the way, folks?
We have half an hour left, roughly, which I think we're making great progress.
Yes. We're not going to get this all finished in this one session. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't matter. We'll find another way of getting there. We've got to the end of the month, actually. Just going into what else we've got to do. So we know.
I think the rest of it is probably going to be a lot easier. There's one other area that we need to work on, and that's the actual structure of the session.
Yes,
right?
I agree with you. And that is dealt with. Well, there's an area here we've got to deal with as well, but that's only in principle. The session program, what we're going to say in that is something we've got to work together.
Yes.
Out together. And okay. Let's get this order in, that Charlotte's order, if everybody's agreed.
Yep.
Give it a go.
Yep.
Go for it. Yep.
Okay. What was it?
We just swap around the
System science and
the system science with the complexity.
Yep.
Oh, bugger.
Good for
Sorry.
you. That's it. Next. That's it. Yeah, okay. And then we go down and just put in the paragraphs of some sort in there. I mean, frankly, the one about systems science in practice is one I'd really like Gary's input to, because I was struggling a bit on that one. The only thing I've got to say about the need to reverse the order of those two, Suja.
Of what? Of this?
Bring,
Oh,
in collaboration wants to go above complex problems. It's not that they're right, but they just get them in the right order, that's all. Okay, that's it. Okay, then don't worry about the words too much about at the moment. Now go down one more and put and.
oh, I see what you mean.
Okay, and then there's one final paragraph, just to get the structure of the whole thing, which is go to, maybe I've got to do it here. I got to go to this thing here and pick up, I'm going to suggest picking up those words, particularly, if everybody's agreed, as being the final.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy with that.
Oh, where do those words go?
It went to the next paragraph.
Did they?
Oh, next page, sorry. That's fine.
Let's try and get them back up onto that page for a moment. Oh, there they are. And it's got a formatting problem. How do I unformat that? You had a good way of doing that.
I'm going to take over.
Okay. Oh, I've got it. Format Painter. Oh, I hadn't seen that before. There we are. Oh, good. Oh, I've used it many times. I hadn't sort of seen it in that context. Yes, well done. So, right. Do we want to? I'm concerned about the time. Could we leave it with an action on Gary to deal with the systems science part?
Yeah.
And I could have another go if you want at the complexity part, or the only principle I want to get in, and this is about the part which says convince your audience. You'll find the instructions say part of this is appeal to people to participate, right, in the instructions. And I think the inclusion of the word Cynefin in our statement around complexity will be an attraction to our audience these days. That's my interpret. Please, I may be wrong, but when we start talking about sense making in the face of complexity, or chaos for that matter, Cynefin brings everybody to ground, because they actually have some means of understanding what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah, it is a good entry point. It does resonate with people. Yeah,
and what I want to do is just to say, to make sure they're aware that there is good work already done by Nkose on other frameworks. Those are the two things I really want to include in there, which is why I've got this rather tortuous language at the moment. Okay.
Sounds good.
Is there anything else anybody else wants to get into those bits, particularly get into those bits? And who's going to write the and?
I think let's
Our-
get this bit drafted, and then maybe we'll think about that once we got this bit done, right? So we've got, as you said, let's try and turn it around quickly in the next week.
Next week,
Well, I thought you said we got till the when have we got till the end of the month, right? So
Yeah.
at the moment we've got 24 hours.
oh, sorry, I thought you said we
No. In an emergency, I think we could go back and say, well, you did say end of the month, didn't you, Kerry? But we've made a commitment at the moment.
I can make a proposal for the wording for the and paragraph. I'll think
Okay.
of something.
Thank
Right.
you.
Shouldn't we share this somewhere where we can all edit together? Can we put it in Google Docs or something?
Oh God,
Otherwise,
yeah.
Google Docs sends my system mad.
or something where we can.
What we could do is put it in Google Docs, and then any of us updates it, send Patrick a version, right, or something to that effect. If you do change it, or once, at the end of the day or something, get an update. Because it does provide a means to be able to edit stuff and see what's happening without, multiple copies of it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to need help because, yeah,
The
days
other-
ago, Google completely took over my Outlook and on my phone.
The other option is but then all of us needs to be using the Dropbox application, because it allows you to do something similar but then you have to open the document in the app, not, in the browser or something. It gives you similar features to working in Google Docs, but that's the alternative.
I'm not too
Okay.
happy with. What I can do is give you access to files from my own private cloud. In fact, anybody can do that actually. But what should we do to get this? If you're familiar with Google Docs, use it. What I've got to do is to find some way of reading it and editing it myself. So I may need some help from somebody.
Well, JB suggested emailing you a copy at intervals.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
And I'll just use track changes on the copy that's sent so that people know what's changed.
Mhm.
Okay, it's fine. I'm happy.
So who's going to set up the Google Docs? Gary, you've got something set up already, or Sujay, have you got
Yeah,
something?
I've got a shared
Gary,
drive.
you're
I could, yeah. I mean, it's easy to do. Yeah, I'll just send me the latest file, and I'll upload it onto Google Docs, and then send everybody the link. It's as simple as that. Then you just press on the link, and you'll be able to edit it.
Oh, okay. Well, if it works, it works. But the Google thing that took over from me was from LinkedIn.
Oh, right. Okay.
It was appalling.
Then the question I have is that program bit, how are we going to tackle that?
But that I think is why I wanted to get time now.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about now, right? So yeah,
So let's go on down. First of all, names.
Right.
We've got 5 names here, but I've added one little phrase plus others who may be co-opted in due course, or I could say co-opted in due course.
That's fine.
Leaving ourselves open to get a load of facilitators if that's what we want, and thereby extend the understanding of what we're doing, or promulgate the understanding of what we're doing throughout the workshop, throughout the event. This idea of actually seeding it out into the wider audience works. If you've got people who take on the role of facilitation, and when things go different, as they can do, that sort of scale, they're bright enough to make it work. And I've seen it happen. It's really good.
So on that point, though, Patrick, given the size and the team over here, would one option be that we actually, in terms of what we put on over here, with the facilitators we nominate are Charlotte and Suja, And if you want to bring others in, we can then add them in and we can put them in there. I don't know if you've got the document that I sent across, Gary, or whoever's got sharing the screen. So if you've got that, so if you look over there, it was just, this is who we have, and then we can add more if we so choose to. But right now, this is what it is. And is this what we want to do? Let's change it if we don't want to do that.
Can we share? Shall I unshare?
JB, yeah, JB, why don't you share?
Okay, no, I can do.
Yeah.
All right, yep.
So do I stop sharing now or what?
Yes,
Let's see
Patrick.
what happens, right? If I try and share, would it kick you out, so to speak, right? So
Well, it depends if you have allow
It does.
multiple. No, not really. Okay.
Well, what Gary has just done has come up on my other screen, funnily enough.
Yeah, so multiple people can share at the same time. So that's what's happening now.
I'll have
So
to-
Gary,
can you see that?
Yeah, I can.
Right, so,
Yeah.
so this was just the names of our names, really, and it was broken up into two parts, right? So session facilitators and topic leads. Now we could do it differently, but that's one way. Thoughts?
Well, I'd like to have two aspects for one for Suja and one for Charlotte, so that we have a.
Okay. Let's work that then. What would we want to put there?
Do you want me to have a go, Suja, or would you like to volunteer? You and Charlotte to volunteer.
yeah, I mean, obviously, you guys got you've been working together on this. You had an idea when you called us in. Perhaps it'll be worthwhile to first capture that.
Can I make a suggestion? You add Suja on and, right? Because we've got 4 subjects, not 3. And you add Charlotte on moderation.
Sorry, where are you looking, Patrick? Sorry, I'm missing something.
What I'm saying is I would like to have the whole of our 5 each have some reason for being there. You with me?
Okay.
What I'm talking about is joint and several responsibility. We all have joint responsibility for the success, but it's very helpful to make sure that we have several responsibilities as well. And I'm just looking, we need someone to do and, right?
Okay.
Because there are 4 topics. And there's the other thing that I think would be very important is moderation.
Yeah.
And both Charlotte and Suja can do both, in my view.
All right. How about if I'll stop sharing this. I'll put up the A structure, which we sort of talked about before, and let's change that and put the roles down, and then we come back and fill this in appropriately.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to stop sharing this if I get this right, and then do again. I'm going to come back here. That's interesting. It actually reverted back to the previous share.
Yeah, because it's still on. Multiple participants can share.
Okay, so let's work this. This is a concept for how it could be structured. It doesn't have to be like this, but so I think the first 2 rows are fairly, the first 2 are people joining, housekeeping, all that stuff, and we need to work out who does that. But then this has been structured in this way, right? Engage, explore, reflect. So there's a repetition of engage, explore, reflect for each of the topics, and then right at the end there is a holistic reflection on the whole thing, and I put the and over there.
Well, as we said last time, I had a problem with that.
Yeah, so let's rework it, Patrick. How would we like to say it? Put some thoughts up.
What I'd like to do is to avoid committing ourselves to it, because I think that the design of what we do as an integrated team will emerge from our understanding of what we actually want to achieve with the audience. It's too premature to give that sort of detail. And we've had examples of workshops where they've been over prescribed, and the result of that is actually not as good as we'd have liked it to be. That's what I was over prescribed early is the point.
Should we have wording that says something like the following? You know, to say that it's going to be you know, a facility, like an environment where learning can happen together, and we are going to use methods and techniques that will enable that, something to that effect. Patrick, is that what you're thinking about? So that
Yes, yes.
So give me an
In other
example,
words,
Patrick.
a paragraph
Yeah, sorry, go on.
which says that you're right on it, Sue. I know why Sue's right on it, because we've been working on similar things and had similar virtual problems. So perhaps the way forward on this is to ask Suja to write it. What I'm saying is, if you come down with a list like that, that's far too prescriptive in my view for for the level of maturity we have at this time. We just don't know.
well, the question is, will Carrie be okay with a paragraph describing the engagement without this detail?
I think if we do it well, she'll be perfectly happy. In other words, if we send her a list like that, she may think, "Oh, good," because she's a delivery mode person. But we would be making a rod for our own back, quite honestly.
Jamie, I think.
Sorry, go on, Suja, go on. I was just.
Jamie, I think what Patrick is saying is, you know, we might decide once we've spent more time together as a team that, you know, we have an engagement session that talks on all, I'm just, for argument's sake, I'm just going to say 3 topics. I know we have 4. First, have an engagement section on all 4 topics, and then we have a major breakout, or, you know, that kind of detail we don't know yet. So
are you suggesting we just put words, something like, not ignore the rest, just look at the highlights?
Yes.
So just put some words in that describe the concept.
Yes.
Just something like that, right? Just what we got there.
Yeah, something.
Well, an amalgam of the 4 topics.
Yeah.
Amalgam is quite a nice word, because it's a quite nice metaphor, because it's metallic. Does that make sense?
Is it an amalgam?
I'm trying to amalgam of the 4 strands. Did we call them whatever we called them at the top? Can't remember now.
Have you got the master document there, sir? Do you want me to give you back control and I'll paste this into the chat? And you can...
hang on. I'll just leave that there for the moment.
Yep.
I can take control on the other document to push it up.
What JB wants me to
Strands.
do is to,
Sorry, do you want me to copy that across? Is that what you?
Yeah, please. JB has put it into the chat box, I think.
Oh, has he?
No, I got to do that. I'll do that.
I can take it off this document if you want me to.
Go for it. If you can, go for it. But you're better than me.
Let me find out whether I can.
You have to request control.
Oh, how do I do that?
No, and actually you can't, because you are going to be copying across devices, and it's not going to allow you to do that. So JB, just put it in the chat box.
Right, I'll stop sharing and put it in, because I can't seem to see that. So here we go. There we are.
Okay, Patrick, then grab that and then put it in the section in your document.
Hang on, chat box came up somewhere up here. Oh, that's it. There it is. I got it. Yeah. Is it the 1 paragraph?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you need to wordsmith it, obviously. Yes.
And where do you want me to put it?
In the session program.
In here.
There. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So we've got 2 things in the session program so far. The program we designed to fulfill its purpose. Blah, 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 blah. The format proposed is an amalgam of the 4
Okay, do you want to do the typing?
I can if you want, or you do it if you want, Soja.
Okay.
You're quicker than I am.
Let me see if I can get there. What was it that we said?
Prose is an amalgam of the 4 strands.
I'll fix that spelling later. Yeah.
Now, I can't read the next bit. Hang on, let's get this out of the way. Have I finished with the chat, everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that why is that spelling?
Yeah.
No, someone can tell me how to fix it.
Amalgam, don't worry. Okay.
Don't ask me about spelling. I got the worst spelling.
I think it's just GAM at the end with no E. That's me guessing now.
I see. Okay. Let's just see that.
Okay, leave it to it. One more. That's it. Now play space. Yeah, that's right.
There we go.
Uh,
Okay.
and not each comprising amalgam of the 4 strands comprising a mix of presentation and facilitated discussion within an introduction.
Delete up to comprising.
Oh, there we go. All right. Got it. Can't see the big picture when you are in the detail.
Yeah, yes, I know. You get down right here.
Yeah.
There we go.
A.
And do you want to say presentation, discussion, and reflection, or something to that effect?
Oh yeah. Can't we use the same language of engagement?
Of engagement.
Patrick?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I'd like that.
Chunks.
Engagement. Yeah.
I'll fix it now. Exploration.
Exploration
And
and reflection. Full stop.
Oh my. That really went bonkers.
That's going well. Exploration's a bit funny, don't worry.
Sean.
That's it. Lovely. Preceded by an introductory session. Well, I'm not quite sure you even need that to say that. I think you do have an introductory session.
Yeah, maybe you can get rid of that. That's it's
Yeah, it's almost. Yeah, keep going. Well, it's just, you know, it's obvious we're going to have that unless you want to do it. And reflection, of course, gives you the end, actually.
Yeah.
It's complete.
designed. Maybe get rid of there. Just say after reflection. Just say design and delete from there to catalyze. Up to catalyze, maybe. Design to catalyze collaborative.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Delete all of that. And just put a 2 in between.
That's great. Right now, put it with the instead of it will put the format proposed is.
Okay.
Okay, because I think this is designed to fulfill its purpose is, I think, fundamental to what we're saying.
Can't we then, I have a suggestion, is up here, sorry, let's just go up. This part here, can't we use this line somehow in that?
Yeah, you can bring that back down at the bottom then and change that or add that in or integrate that into that collaborative.
Yeah, because then, or we could start creating a culture that enables or something to that effect so that.
Yeah, good idea. Copy, don't remove it from there.
Yeah,
that's almost there too. Yeah.
Come on.
That's it.
Super slow. Wow, okay. I'm just gonna put it, oh no, keep forgetting.
You know what to do there. Good.
It's habit. Okay, just move that. Oh, bugger.
Good, good, good. Keep at it. Space, that's all. That's it. Well done.
Okay. Yeah.
It's all good.
Okay, right. We're almost there. So what do we do with this sentence? Okay.
She wanted half a page. She's got 4 lines at the moment.
Yeah. Can't we say something like, the intent is to create, or we are going to create, or
Yeah.
something like that?
A detailed program will be provided, sort of
Mm.
closer to the event. Yeah.
I'd like to propose that the purpose is not to improve people's understanding and application of systems thinking. I think that the purpose is to start to create a culture that will enable
Yes.
people to learn together so that better systems emerge.
I think you're absolutely right.
Okay.
So that wants to go after
Yeah,
that
yeah,
first
yeah.
sentence.
So sorry, I was going to say, does that previous sentence need to be fixed as well then? It's, in other words, it's designed to
we can join them
catalyze
up.
a collaborative culture
Yeah.
of learning, and well, yeah. So
Okay, so what are we saying? Designed to catalyze
The
you guys
creation of a culture.
Okay, I'm just going to write it here first.
Yeah.
The
Creation of a culture.
Never mind.
Mhm.
Of
Yep. I'm getting. Oh my goodness gracious me!
What's going on?
I have no idea.
you got it there.
Yeah. Okay, designed to catalyze.
Yes.
No, design. Wait. Okay, you have to tell me. I'll do the typing.
Designed to catalyze the creation of a culture.
That enables blah blah blah. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Mhm.
No, that didn't work. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
The reason why I'm so attracted to that is because system science won't exist until we have essentially the enterprise of system science. Yeah. It has to be a culture.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. And if you want to get in the idea of the means to get there, it's through the creation of these networked conversations.
So do we need to add anything more here for Kerry? That's actually the question.
Well, I'm just wondering whether we can just get that idea of networked conversations in the connection to culture. In other words, that would then give us a how, you with me, which is we know we now know is well founded through work that we've done recently.
Can we? Okay, I'm going to be using too many that's, but somebody can fix it. Something along the lines of designed to catalyze the creation of a culture that exists in the network of conversations that enables. You see, I too many that's.
I like what you were saying. I like where you were going with that.
Is it which? No, is that or which? Tell me which is.
You could say
for
that
English
enables
people.
You could say that enables people and networks, perhaps. That enables, yeah. That enables people and networks to learn together.
Yeah, I love that.
People
and networks.
and shouldn't say networks of people, but I assume
You could
we
say
mean
you could say networks of organizations. Because system science isn't just going to be ISSS and COSI. It's going to be operations research, systems dynamics, cybernetics, etc., etc., etc. All of the systems community needs to come together as a whole.
But shouldn't we rather say enables people and networks of people, because an organization is a network of
Yeah.
people? I don't want to move away.
Yeah,
We
I'm
have to
happy
put
with
the
that too, Jo.
responsibility on the
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Oops. Because otherwise it becomes another abstraction that people can put it at arm's length again.
Yeah. Can we put crazy in front of people?
Or we could just do it this as well. Wait, hold on.
Normal people. The networks of crazy people. Yeah.
Sorry.
We're almost out of time.
Yeah.
So I raised that. Do we, I mean, you guys know that you're all going to be speaking on a specific topic, right? I mean, we can go as far as to say that there's going to be segments in that JB will say something and Pash will say something and Gary will say something, right? We can be, that won't put us in a corner, will it?
No.
To say that we're gonna that's
think
gonna
that's-
be part of the structure.
Yeah, I think that's okay. And that goes some way to at least describing the segments and who is leading. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the only outstanding thing is the session time. We must just use the whole 120 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna need all that time. We won't.
Yeah.
We won't. That
Yeah.
won't be enough time. People are gonna hopefully want to keep talking
Oh,
forever.
yeah.
JB, do you want to add, because you had written that out in terms of the leads for those groupings?
Yeah, you can. I just
Okay.
pasted a last sentence in here as
Okay.
well. That sort of collaborates with what you got there. So just sorry, you wanted to
Okay.
add in the leads. Hang on a second. I'll just put that in.
Are you there with that?
JB has a proposal for that sentence.
Yeah.
So it's designed, just look in the chat box, designed to catalyze a collaborative culture, enabling people to learn and work together across networks for better systems emergence.
Sorry, I've just lost it. Sorry. Share screen again. So I pressed the wrong tip. There we are. Chat. What do you want me to do with that, Susa?
Maybe you can just put it in, just add a, as a paragraph again so that we can see.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do one other thing, just if you permit me. I can undo this if you don't like it. I'm just going to put that into the script we're using by going like that, if I may. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so it's consistent all the way through, that's all.
And then also the names of the sessions.
Is anybody desperate to leave at this moment in time?
Oh, shoot, yeah.
Is there anybody?
Charlotte had to go somewhere by the sounds of things.
Yeah. No, I have another meeting in about 10 minutes. So
Okay. So what I would like us to do now is just to agree who's going to do what and when, by when.
Yes.
So that we are then in a position to meet again. What's today? Thursday, isn't it? When can people meet again? When can we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
I'm just checking what's for me this time's not bad. If you're going for the same time, I can probably do it. Just looking at what's happening next. Oh dear.
Well, I was actually wondering if we could do this tomorrow.
That's what I was hoping.
Can we go for a shorter session tomorrow then?
Yeah.
Yes.
I could do 7 again tomorrow.
7 tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I can do that. That's fine.
Right.
I will. If someone sends me the latest, I'll upload it on Google Docs and put in the stuff on system science.
Right. I will act as version control then. So what I'll do is I will take this version, I will give it a unique number, which is the date plus a number, right? And when it comes back to me, I will therefore sequence the versions. Okay? So whilst you're modifying it together on Google, we're modifying it together on Google Docs. If anything goes wrong,
Yeah, that's fine.
then just contact me and I'll send another one to Gary.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan. Okay,
Good.
so are we meeting? Who's setting up the meeting?
I'll do it.
Oh, thanks, Gary.
Okay. And we've suggested various people to do things, but
I'm going to do the and paragraph in the abstract. And
so that's I'm just going to put that in here if you don't mind, Suja.
no worries.
Suja's doing that. People could help her, suggest things to her or whatever.
And
And
the other thing that I know we're not going to put it into the submission, but we have to start thinking about the structure and time budgets and otherwise we'll probably go over time or we'll come under time. So we need to start thinking about that. And maybe tomorrow I'll send out that spreadsheet that I just pad up and just have some thoughts about how would we structure it, right? And really, we don't have to publish this now and we can refine it, but we need to start thinking about it and see how it would work.
Yeah.
Those text, where else is text being altered? In here, this is Gary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm,
Gary, Gary.
mhm.
I'm just putting a blue color onto that so that we can just see it's distinct, that's all. And capitalizing it, bolding it. Okay, now Kneffin, who's going to deal with that?
that's you, Patrick.
Okay,
Yeah, that's your section. Yes.
if that's all I've got to do, that's fine. I'll go and get some sleep first then.
I think that's it, right? Pretty much, because the rest is just the names and the bits and pieces. So.
I can add the
Okay.
names of the session teams as well. I mean, it's not a problem. I'll do that somewhere.
We have
Okay.
that I've got that in the other version as well. If you want to copy it
Yeah.
from there, or you can just type it in.
I see it in the chat box. I'll just take it over. It's fine.
That session, the session stuff is Suja, is it?
Yeah.
Mhm. I've skillfully managed to avoid being told to do anything. You guys can give me something to do if you want, but don't feel obliged.
I'm very impressed.
Wow.
You could be the lead point of contact, Charlotte.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
What a good idea.
Wow.
You spoke too soon, right? You should
They
have
just
stopped.
happened. And you got the role of the moderator. So boom.
Yeah.
That is so happening.
That's fine.
So Charlotte, do you want me to set up the Zoom still, or do you want to do that now that you're formally in charge?
I don't know. Have you got a Zoom account? Have you got a Zoom account,
I
Charlotte?
do not. I don't
Okay,
have a
I'll
Zoom account.
do
I
it
don't think
then.
it would be good. I'm doing this on my iPad, so I don't think it's a good idea to put me in charge of setting up the Zooms.
Right, I'll do that. Don't worry.
Should have kept my mouth shut.
All right.
I tell you what, Charlotte, the best advice I can give you is quickly think of a role for yourself so you don't get landed with these things.
All right. I'm going to be heading out. Thank you so much. It was such intellectually stimulating conversation.
Thank you all. It's been great.
Right.
Thank you very,
Okay.
very much.
I'll send
Thank
you
you.
around the link
I'll
to this
send,
as
I'll
well.
send this off to everybody now.
Thank
Right.
you.
Okay.
Have a good
Bye.
one. See you
Yeah,
tomorrow.
thank you guys. It was fun.
Bye. Bye.
Cheers.